Greetings. Thank you for watching this video. This is Michael W. Ford. Today, actually, this video was supposed to be a video on Baal, Baal Hadad, Beelzebub, and the concept of the Goetic demon Baal. But before I do that video, I wanted to do one that I think is important to explore and discuss and guide the potential Luciferian or new Luciferian or even someone in different paths looking at Luciferianism. And it's called The Forbidden Knowledge of Demons, Angels, Spirits, and Deities in Luciferian Magic. And I'm going to cover the concept of Godform's Deific Masks. Now, the first question is, do you have to invoke deities and demons in Luciferianism? You are not required to. No, absolutely not. But those who don't go forth in the ritual magic aspect or those avenues of that type of sorcerous practice will really be focused around the 11 points of power and the structure, the pragmatic structure, which is very bound in the cause and effect world, in which other avenues of all avenues really of Luciferian magic are intertwined between both. But for the very straightforward Luciferian, you don't have to practice that. You can stick to around the processes in the book Apotheosis and be totally fine with it. This is for those who are drawn and seek this type of ritual magic practice. You don't have to believe in Deific Masks as literal, or you can believe in them in any way you want. And I'll get to that in a few minutes on how that dynamic is reflected by Luciferian philosophy. Now, assuming God forms or deific mask is the willed act of invoking the energy commonly conceptualized as a spirit or demon. Deific masks is connected with the art of assuming the God form. An example by anthropomorphic or theriomorphic descriptions and traits in a mythopoetic form such as a hymn or incantation or invocation, along with the uttering or vibrating the names of power associated with the deity, demon, angel, or spirit. The deep instinct within our subconscious abyss is stirred upward towards the edges of our conscious mind. And this is via a culmination of timing by the intoxication of invocation, something Aleister Crowley, I learned from Crowley's writings, and by practice and validating it, is intoxicate yourself with the invocation. So in reciting, such as a mantra, or however you do it, you open gnosis, you open the unseen world, the realm of imagination and spirit, of unseen energy. And that really is impactful. That is the key towards successful ritual magic practice, results driven. Like mantras or chanting, states of otherness or gnosis is gradually increased, and by the time alignment at the climax of the ritual of imagination, will, desire, and belief, the energies of the deific mask can be identified with not only our own energy, and for moments that God form you have assumed is at one with your mind, body, and spirit. In effect, you're using the energy to compel change towards your willed desire. Attaining victory is not merely your success, it is also equally the success of the deity, spirit, or demon. Of course, if you are one of those who views the unseen world and the many spirits to be independently conscious and existing, this Luciferian magical discipline and approach is no different and highly respectful to the force and its power invoked. So as you can see in Luciferianism, it doesn't matter if you're a theist, atheist, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I don't care. And you might have avenues of where you interchange all of these varied beliefs, but you still have your core approach. But the methodology in honoring and respecting these archetypes, spirits, demons, deities, whatever, as I call Deific Masks, is across the board equally respectful to the energy that you're calling and working with and attaining guidance from by your own energy. So in respecting that, you respect you. In short, your natural and even insight-driven adaptation of how you perceive your existence and the cosmos is uniquely your own. There's no right or wrong way. Use natural ways of thinking. An example of how the brain is wired to perceive as a power and tool towards your approach and practice of Luciferian magic. How your imagination works, how you view those concepts. At the very core, there's a seed that becomes that weapon and tool that aligns with your imagination, your mind, your will, potentially your daemon, if that's the path at an early stage, which for most it should be. That your natural alignment and trusting yourself and your self-confidence and your discipline matter most, more than anything. All too often, and this is something I see that I stay away from with great intensity. The chambers, echo chambers, really, online of, quote, my belief is better than yours, or this is the right way to view it. This is a real thing. This is not. All of that is a pathetic waste of time. What matters is your initiation. And if you're realistically going forward with the black magical alchemy of the triad of the morning star, collectively liberation, illumination, and apotheosis, or whatever tradition you're currently involved with, the parallel corresponding concept, that is what matters. What Satanic sorcerer 121 in a chat room says that Kenneth Grant believes this and Michael Ford is shit because he believes that, doesn't matter. Does not matter. What do you get from the work that you're reading? That grimoire, my grimoires specifically, I'll speak for mine, have a type of patron spirit, as I visualize it, an energy that's unlocked by those who read, digest the work, and hopefully apply it with some consistency, other than just reading a paragraph or a couple pages and sitting it down and then getting online and asking about what the next cool satanic book is or whatever. That you have to take the works and apply them, adapt them to you. As a Luciferian, I do not allow a difference of perception between the Godform or even a hint of inner-dialog. This can lead to severe and self-destructive delusional fantasies. Those indulging this type of fantasy will have a total disconnect between the true magical weapon, that is the imagination, that is the visualized realm of the unseen and seen, where energies and spiritual forces or powers take mental form, following with its influenced manifestation in the seen or physical world. So if you find yourself or you see someone or meet someone who tells you, I speak to Lucifer and he tells me, and fill in the blank, then chances are there is a break between the imagination and the mental foundation of that individual that severs the Luciferian magical initiatory process, or any left-hand path, or any magical process of attaining validation and initiation. It's always a telltale sign that I'm very cautious about. So don't speak to your demons and tell people about it. Because if you do, especially those not associated with the process and the path, it's not going to look good. There's a more important reason, though, seriously. It is from the imagination that all ideas, creations, and concepts, if aligned, and the symbolism connects with our mind's eye and will, can then be somewhat of a reality. Okay, so in this sense, spirits, if you find investment of belief a subjective possibility or even a validated thing to you, along with the demons and Jinn, can be united to dwell for a mere moment with your attracted and concentrated energy, which is invoked by the names of power, with the intoxication of belief, will, desire, belief. That energy, those can meet and be mediated by your daemon, your higher guiding deified form, that which guides and governs and aligns through and works through the intellect, governing the primal power and instincts, the raw power. Spiritual energies may be beneficial or malignant depending on how and if you are strong of mind and in self-confidence, not falling trap to temptation, which leads to degeneration from your intentional foundational structure and the code of what we call, in some traditions, the word or the oath we live by, i.e., our individual internal morals, what we are confident is right and wrong in our lives, not what people tell you, what society or the media tells you, but you as a person, what you wouldn't do in most situations, commonly everyday things. Sometimes you may be tested as they are of the adversary. You'll be tested by such energies because the impulse, the temptation to release all bounds of discipline or self-control may occur. If you don't, by will, desire, and belief, concentrate and control them, your higher intellectual consciousness, by that, an example, the discipline and self-control, you will be less than spiritual, or that less than spiritual force, and not worthy of any beneficial interaction. So if you are theistic and you're invoking, or you're an atheist, these energies, if you are not strong enough to compel, control, influence, and direct as a part of yourself, maintaining your self-control, indulging within the bounds of not lessening your will or your being, then those energies, that energy will, if you're looking at it as a spirit, will look at you and see you as unworthy and then as prey. This is the adversarial path. It's the same reflected in everyday, just the physical world we live in. So don't whitewash it into thinking that everything's nice or anything in nature is nice. You should know that there's a balance. And sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes it's malignant, but a lot of the time, most of the time, your strength of will, your intellect exalted by the black flame, so given by Lucifer, Lilith, is that force in which mutual respect is found. That energy will be yours to direct in full respect and honor of the Deific Mask. The weak will become prey and energy food for demonic spirits and energies. To the atheist, this can merely be a disillusionment of core concepts and thus self-destruction via mental sickness. And this goes to something I mentioned before, I do not allow any separate concepts of a dialogue as if a discussion can occur on a deity, demon to human level. This, like I mentioned, leads to a total separation between the imagination and the practical acts of magic. At that stage, it becomes more like a fantasy that has no bounds to the cause and effect of the world you exist in. Luciferians must pass this very test to experience initiation and to truly exist as a Luciferian by traits and character. No matter how different we can all be from each other, these core philosophical foundations, that standard makes us the elect and the black adepts, exalting the black flame within the current. That connects all Luciferians, no matter who or how you live. This is really the authentic path of left-hand path practice. The struggle is worth it if you are attracted and find your traits are aligned to Luciferian philosophy. If you're not, probably not the one for you. It can at times be challenging as you really don't want to share your initiation inner experience of Gnosis via invocation with regard to invoking, evoking, or ceremonial offerings to the pandemonium of eldritch spirits. Such subjective concepts do not make a good atmosphere or end well in conversations between the adept and those profane or simply the uninitiated individual who might be simply an acquaintance, friend, or a family member. I suggest only outlining in discussions with what you practice the philosophy and the traits of the path in general. Overall, like liberation, illumination, apotheosis, in rational terms, to outsiders. This allows practical commonalities in which both can understand. And plus, subjective spiritual experiences, even if you explain the validation point of how the result, the attainment, the change, it's still will not be easily understood by someone who's not of the path. So represent the rational and strong rational logic of the Luciferian philosophy as reflected in basically apotheosis. Keep that simple and almost dull to the general public so they understand. Instead of explaining the sights, sounds, and totality of experience in ritual, invocation, or dream divination. Now, here's something that I'm half joking about, but I'm actually pretty serious about, and that is, don't have conversations with deities, demons, or jinn as if they can equally share human lesser creature comforts or petty chatter about nothing. Talking about a post on Facebook or insight from something in your head that's telling you it likes the color blue and you shouldn't like this. I'm really just going to say it sounds insane. And if you do that and you share that with people, not only just one-on-one, you're going to have a lot of problems because you never want to have inner dialogue in terms of mundane conversations. Number one, chances are it might be some form of mental illness going on that you should have checked. And number two, your self-confidence will, your mind, you, even your daemon, your higher self, the instinct, it sends guidance by instinct, by epiphany, not by mundane conversations. It's not like that. It's not a Netflix comedy about demonology. It has to be rational. But your spirituality should be greater than that. So much greater. In that force, that spirit, that deific mask, that Jinn, in its alignment with you in your invocations, your ritual magic, in that temple of mind, body, and spirit, you're at one. Those energies are at one with your intent, your black flame, and that success is also their success. That and the validation, the attainment, is the strength that binds and enhances your personal spirituality, which can't be shaken, because you'll never wake up one day and say, does that exist? Well, you validated it internally, and you don't rely on it to not let bad things happen in the world or anything overly irrational as that. Your thoughts on such concerning spiritual realities or whatever, as I've described, even if potentially paranormal experiences occur around you, that must not distract you from your aim and intent. It must be as if your spirit and your will are totally aligned and there is no difference. So if you do that, that'll keep your thoughts and focus off such paths of magic is real, and this path is real, and it reflects and connects in the practical, rational, even boring daily world. And it occurs over a gradual period of time, and you'll have moments potentially of what people call paranormal. You may or may not, but if you do, don't let it distract you. Stay the course, enjoy it, have fun with it, but stay the course towards your goals. When you enter a ritual chamber, here's a good thing to think about. Perform a working, offer incense, libations, whatever your type of offering is, with a solemn and respectful thank you to the spirit or demon, as if this power is at this moment directly above you or within you, and relating merely to your confidence and power of will to be identifiable as something worthy of their guidance, and by way of instinctual impulse. In ritual magic, those brief moments are encouraged to be when you suspend, by entering the ritual chamber, suspend disbelief and invest total belief by the imagination in the spiritual powers in the realm of the unseen. Honor and respect yourself and the demonic, and you will find energy is directed in a beneficial way. One thing I will say, don't dismiss your failures on the idea that the occult does not work. if you fail or lack results. This is also a test for yourself. The first point is that you really probably did not read the often overlooked methodical steps that are hidden, or sometimes very plain as day, that I've offered as guidance in my grimoires, usually in the early or mid sections, right before the magical application. The rituals are explained and presented. Second is that if you have to feel silly after performing and failing, you are not trusting your approach and your confidence of mind. Adjust your methods and use that frustration and anger to get back into it over and again until success occurs. And with that, and this is an important part too, don't make your goals greater than your potential. This is simple and obvious. Start rationally and seek to slowly and gradually move energy as if liberation, illumination, apotheosis is a wheel which is turned by the energy and focus you direct to it and upon it. Building and enhancing one's, like the 4 pillars, power, balance, strength, and will, is the act of magic, and initiation occurs in both the mental and spiritual, unseen in imagination, and the physical, which is the seen, realms at equal levels. With that said, either one can be greater in experience or overwhelming the senses at any given time. Sometimes more in what is visually in front of you or in life is happening, but it will reflect in the mental and the spiritual, often in unseen moments, to then balance it out. The mind of the Black Adept will think as if he or she is the embodiment of a fallen angel, say a demon or a deity incarnate. So you think as the devil. That doesn't mean you do stupid things or criminal things. No, that means you, like the serpent, are cunning, that you think before you act. You have restraint, under will, you have self-confidence, and you learn how to use your thoughts, your words, your actions in life to enhance your magical practice and your apotheosis. Think in a cunning, disciplined, and strategic way. And of course, think, what would the devil do? That is very important. And if someone calls you a devil worshiper, if they ask you, are you Luciferian? I'm a Satanist. Or they say, you're a devil worshiper? Just say, yes, Satan is my Lord and Savior. I bow before the unholy goat. And because that's just what we do to have fun. So thank you for watching this video. I know it's a little lengthy, but I wanted to get that out there. And subscribe, like, and all those things. And until next time, Banama Araman.